Hello arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're doing my 98th Chillin' Chat live on a Sunday evening with the home arcade community. Not a ton of home arcade news this week. We've pretty much covered it all over these last few weeks, and even though we've been getting what seems like an onslaught of news lately, it's kind of been quiet this last week. I mean, there's been some like little bit of news like with the Atari Pac-Man. I'm just not really huge into that new Atari machine, so I'm going to skip that talk tonight. Also, like there's Buy Stuff Store. They have these 360 wheels that they're putting out now. Just not a huge fan of those old school steering wheels either. Even though I do love the arcade off-road, and I know it uses similar technology, I'm just not huge into that product either. So even though those are news this week, I'm probably going to just skip that stuff altogether. I do have a poll going tonight. It's going to be, what guest would you most like to see join us for the next show? I gave the choice of P-Dub's Arcade Loft, James Hates Everything, PD7, and Glenn's Retro Show. I've actually reached out to a few of these these YouTubers, and they've all kind of shown interest. Scheduling is going to be kind of a thing, you know, just making sure we can nail down a time that they're available. But I figured the poll would be useful too, because if we can get interest from the audience on which person you want to see most, that'll give me ammunition to you know, and try to encourage them to join us. So definitely let your voice be heard. See who you want to see on the show, and put them in the poll for me so I know which one you want. The Beat Me is here. He's saying John Cena isn't a superhero in his opinion. Yeah, that's debatable. I mean, I wasn't huge with John Cena when I first saw he was cast as Peacemaker, and it was that first Suicide Squad that James Gunn did, which was actually the second version, kind of like a, I guess you could say a reboot of the Suicide Squad, and they had thrown Peacemaker in there, and that was kind of his first appearance. And at first, I wasn't the hugest fan of John Cena, but he's grown on me, and I think he's really taken his acting career seriously now, and I'm okay with it. Definitely think there could have been some better options for sure, but happy with that casting. B-Me also says, at PD7 is such a normal person that enjoys life, he would be an amazing guest. We've had him on a few times over the years, and love to get him back on. It looks like right now with 5 votes, he's winning with 80%. So we'll see how that goes tonight, and gather that data and share it with these creators and see who wants to come on. But let's get into it tonight, guys. It looks like B-Me's the only one in the chat so far at the start of our show. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to our subjects. And mostly what we're going to be covering tonight is going to be the Fantastic Four movie, which I just saw on Thursday. Got to see it really early on Thursday at like a 3:30 showing. Super impressed with that movie. I did an out of the theater reaction as soon as I was out, and man, boy, the only thing I could say about it, you know, initially was just how big of a spectacle it was to see Galactus, how good the acting was, how good the characters were in the movie, and just want to really dive deep into that movie and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on on what I thought about this movie, because I just thought it was a great way to get back to form for Marvel, because Marvel has had a tough year and a half recently with movies, and they really needed a win, and I think they got one with this new Fantastic Four movie. It's been in development now for a couple years, and I remember the original casting for it was Pedro Pascal for Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, and initially I did not think that was a good casting. And I like him in the other things I watch him in like The Mandalorian, The Last of Us. Those were great roles he had in those shows, and but I just feel like he's being overused, and I didn't know if that was the greatest casting for Reed Richards. But I think he did an excellent job. I mean, he was like some of the best acting in the entire movie. I'd said in that short how the movie was kind of like a little bit of a depressing kind of movie that this is Galactus coming to take over the Earth and basically destroy it and wipe out all humanity on the planet. And it was just kind of a dark movie. And he had to play a role in which it was a very serious role, but also like this expert scientist that knew everything and anything. And I just feel like he really delivered. If you guys remember the original casting, if you guys ever watched The Office, was in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And back in 2022, I think that movie came out. And I thought he was the ideal casting for Reed Richards. He just had that brief cameo in Doctor Strange. And I was like, okay, well, this is certainly setting up his casting in the movie Fantastic Four. That's not what happened. He evidently, I don't know what behind the scenes was happening, but there was probably financially, these bigger actors, they demand high pay. And I don't think Pedro Pascal quite demands the same level of pay. He's still trying, even though he's very popular and he has worked his way to the top, from the bottom to the top. He is still in the early part of his career, and he's still trying to gain his footing in the industry. I don't think he's making the amount of money some of these other actors are making. He's still surprisingly proving himself, I think, as like a mainstream AAA actor in Hollywood. And boy, did he deliver in this movie. He just did such a great job. I can't say enough about, how serious he took it, how he portrayed himself as this like scientist, and how he was a super smart, like, person, but also was like very loving to his girlfriend, wife, which was Vanessa Kirby, but also to their child, and they have a child in the movie, and just how great of a father he is in this movie. Just really delivered. The Be Me says, thanks to your out of the movie reaction, my daughter wants to go, LOL. That's awesome. Yes, I don't typically do those, but maybe I'm going to start doing them more often, because they're a great way to get that information across, like just as soon as you walk out of the theater. Because, over a few days, you start forgetting stuff, or you just don't remember all the great things about the movie as if you would right when you walk out. So I think those out, even though you don't have anything to prepare, it's a really raw, reaction, opinion to what you saw. And I like that. So I might keep doing it. I'm glad you enjoyed it, to Be Me, and that your daughter wants to go see it now. It's a fantastic movie, and it is just amazing. So Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, very good casting as well. Haven't seen much of her in previous movies or shows. I know she was in the Fast and the Furious movie, I think, recently. Didn't see that one. So I don't know much about her as an actress going into this movie. But I'll tell you, I think she did an amazing job as well. Really portrayed Sue Storm very well. Again, it's about them raising this child or having this child. And she played a very good mother. And the dynamic with Pedro Pascal in this movie is like top, like the best you're going to get. Peak acting, I think, between these two. And my friend, I was out with him yesterday. I went to a pinball tournament, and we were talking about Fantastic Four. He hadn't seen the movie yet. And we were just talking about these two actors, Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal. And he's like, yeah, did you know Pedro Pascal's wife is Vanessa Kirby? And I'm like, no. I think she's married to like some big time lacrosse player. I don't think she's married to Pedro Pascal or even dating him. He's like, what? Are you sure? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh man, I've been watching interviews and stuff between these two, and I just was for sure that they were married. Like they just seemed like they were, and I know exactly what he's saying because in all the interviews, she's like all over him, he's all over her. This has been going on since San Diego Comic-Con last year, and I guess that's just a dynamic of their acting and how they really get into the role. Is they like not just do it when they're on camera, but even when they're off camera, they just really take on that role. And these actors that they're playing these roles are just that into it that they live it, you know. And method acting, I guess, is what they refer to that as. And they're just, you know, so into this role. They're also continuing to do it too because they're right now filming Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So all this is going on right now. They're continuing their press release and traveling all over the world, and they're still just like how they were over a year ago when they started filming Fantastic Four. So expect to see more of that in the next year or two in the next two Avengers movies. Then we've got Ben Grimm, Eben Moss, and then his last name, so you can see it, is Barak. So Eben Moss Barak. And he plays Ben Grimm, the Thing. And I don't know much about him as an actor either. I know that there is a show on Hulu, I believe it is, or maybe it's FX. Can't remember which one it is, but they're like cooks, and that's how he made his name. And I have not watched this show at all, so I can't speak on it much. I just know that The Bear is what it was called, and I think he's a chef in that show, and he also plays like a cook and is really involved in cooking the meals for the family in the Fantastic Four. And I think you know, his experience as that cook on that show kind of translated very well into this movie because they have these family meals and they take it really seriously, and everyone's got to be there. Everyone plays their part in making their dinner each night. And Ben Grimm is kind of like the lead in the kitchen, you know, and I thought he did a really good job with that. And then Joseph Quinn, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, excellent actor. I have a lot of experience watching him because I'm really big into Stranger Things. And it was season 4, I think it was, is the one where he played a major part in season 4 of Stranger Things. And man, boy, he had this long hair, and he just was like playing like a rock star and everything in the show. And man, he was great. His acting was just top, you know, peak level acting, and just thought he did such a fantastic job in Stranger Things. And I knew his career was going to take off after he had that role in that show because he's got so much energy, and he's just really like the thing you remember about that season of Stranger Things. Fortunately, they killed him off. Don't want to spoilers here, but he does die at the end of season 4. You don't get to see him in the next season, and obviously the season coming up, unless they do some flashbacks or something. But yeah, when I first heard that he had gotten this role as Human Torch, I was like, we'll see. I mean, he's proven himself as an actor for sure. And he's definitely on the top of my list as some of the best actors I've seen recently. So he delivered as well. I thought he did a great job. And then there's Herbie the robot. And this was new. I mean, it was part of an animated series of Fantastic Four, but we had not seen this character in the movies, any of the previous versions of live action Fantastic Four. But man, he really delivered as well. I thought he was a real great part of the movie and the family itself. You know, it's not just the four. You've got Herbie as well. He's kind of that fifth part of like part of the wheel, you know, and making sure everything's running. There's a huge scene in the movie where they're in a ship and they're traveling to go see Galactus on the other side of the universe, and they're all playing this part in the ship, and they've all got a part that they play that is integral to making sure they achieve and get where they need to go and do what they need to do in space. And Herbie is just as important as all the other characters. He's off doing stuff as well, and they're ordering him to do things, and he's just as important. And he really brings a lot of like R2D2 type vibes and feelings back for me. You know, kind of comparing it to Star Wars and R2D2. That's kind of what Herbie is for the Fantastic Four. So it was really good to see him in this movie as well. Calvin Wong's here with the grin face. He also says, they do it on camera and off, huh? Yep, on and off camera. And there's Papa Brad's Gaming with the emojis. Good to see you, buddy. Steps Gaming is here as well. Did not enjoy the movie at all. About walked out. Oh, that's surprising. Haven't heard anyone say negative things about the movie yet. You'll have to tell me sometime, you know, what you didn't like about it. Calvin Wong says selling to kids like R2D2, Herbie. Yes. Yeah, another thing is the toy aspect, right? And be able to sell the toys. That's a large part of the movies and how they make money. T-shirts, you know, whatever they can sell. And Herbie helps sell that merchandise for sure. And kids are going to love buying those toys. And, you know, growing up watching this movie, I'm sure that's a big part of what they're going to remember about it. But I loved it. I thought that all 5 of those characters we went over were just all excellent. I can't say any. The only thing I can say is maybe the Thing, you know, had a little less part in the movie than the other characters did. And that was a little bit disappointing because the Thing is a big part of the comics. And I think a lot of people look at the Thing as their favorite of the Fantastic Four characters. I think, you know, they're definitely going to do a sequel. He's also going to be in Avengers. Maybe they can kind of make up for that in these upcoming movies and, you know, have the Thing be a really big part of those movies coming up. But, yeah, great movie, great acting. Let's next get into the villain of the movie, because the villain was probably the biggest spectacle. You know, like I'd said in my out of the theater reaction, was like one of the coolest parts was the villain. B. Kirby is here. He's saying, what's up, Biggie? Good to see you, B. Kirby. Steps is saying it was slow, past, and not enough action until the end. I like that aspect of it. You know, I really like that it was slow, and I like the family dynamic and them doing the character development with the characters and seeing their life in this new world. You know, it's not the MCU on our planet. It's another planet called the 828. Earth, and even though all the cities are the same, they kind of look similar, like it looks like New York. It's a different planet and different universe, and I love that we got to see all that and see where they lived and how they were protecting these people from, you know, the villains and things that were on the planet already, leading up to the main villain later in the movie. I thought it was great. I loved it. Can't say, like I said in my out of the theater reaction, it is a 10 out of 10. I can't say anything negative about it. It's that good. And I loved what you didn't like, Steps, is how it was slow. I actually enjoyed that part of it, because a lot of these superhero movies lately get right into the action. It's full on action the whole movie, kind of like Superman was. And I like it to slow down a little bit and learn. These are new characters we've never seen before. This is a new universe we know nothing about. Learning about all that stuff was important, I thought. Paul's here. Good to see you. He's saying, wondering if this will be better than Superman, which I felt was to me. So Superman was an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I really liked Superman a lot more than Man of Steel. I thought it was really good. But then Fantastic Four is a 10 out of 10. It's even better. Where I can find flaws in Superman, I can find, you know, certain things that I saw room for improvement in Superman, where in Fantastic Four I couldn't see anything that I could like recommend to the director or the actors or, you know, the Marvel and Disney, you know, to do things better. I just think they hit it out of the park with this one, and it was 10 out of 10. Papa Brad's Gaming says, was Superman or Fantastic Four better? Fantastic Four. Steps also says, I'm like 6 out of 10, and the only reason I give it a 6 is the ending was bad, LOL. Happy Gilmore 2 was my jam. I don't have Netflix yet, so I'm going to have to get it to watch Happy Gilmore 2, but I've been hearing a little bit about it on YouTube over the last couple of days from my typical reviewers, and what they've said, it's just a cameo fest. It's a fun movie. It's not one that you take seriously. Really, Adam Sandler just having a good time, bringing his friends on to make a movie, and just having a good time with it. And if you're not expecting a serious movie, you're just expecting to have fun and get a few jokes in, then Happy Gilmore will be a great movie. So I'm looking forward to it. Haven't seen it yet, but hopefully I will get to start and see that one soon. Paul also says, nice. Should have saved my money to seeing F4 instead. F4, I've heard really good things about it. Brad Pitt's one of my favorite actors. So I would like to see that one, but I haven't gotten to the theater to see it yet because it's been Jurassic Park, Superman, Fantastic Four. So it's just been back to back each week with these movies. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. So let's get into the villain. And there's a little bit of a spoiler in this image that I'm about to show. So turn away if you don't want to see it. But you may have already seen this image. But this is Galactus. And this is him in all his glory. He is a huge, huge villain. I mean, when I say huge, he's massive. Like he's 3-4 times the size of the buildings around him. And he's ultra powerful. He can basically destroy anything he wants on the planet. And when the superheroes try to fight him towards the end of the movie, it's like they're just little toys to him. He can throw them around. He can do whatever he wants. Here you see him stretching out Reed Richards and Mr. Fantastic, just kind of using them like a rubber band. And this is just like what I was saying, the spectacle of the movie. And just how big he is. Now, one thing I'd heard a lot was you need to see this in IMAX. And unfortunately, I don't have an IMAX theater next to me. So I paid for a 3D movie instead because there was a 3D showing. However, when I got there, I'd forgotten that normally I wear my contacts, but I wore my glasses that day. And I totally forgot. I show up at 3 o'clock at the movie theater without my contacts in. And I'm walking in, I have my glasses on, I'm walking into the theater, I show her my ticket, she hands me the 3D glasses, and I'm like, dang it, it's 3 o'clock, my movie's about to start, and I can't run home to get my contacts, and I don't like putting those 3D glasses over my glasses because it may scratch them or mess them up. So I saw that they had a 3:30 showing, and 30 minutes later in a regular theater, and there weren't many seats taken up. I mean, it was almost all empty for that 3:30 showing. So I just asked, I was like, can I switch out my ticket for this 3:30 showing? Because I can't wear the 3D glasses. And they were like, oh, absolutely. We have plenty of seating in that theater. And they even refunded me a few dollars because there was a difference in price. It went from like, $15 down to like 11 something. So saved a little bit of money even and got to see my movie. Didn't have to run home or miss any of it, which was really good. So yeah, that's Galactus. Now talking about villains, if you guys have seen the previews for Fantastic Four, you may have seen John Malkovich in the preview, and he's going to be playing this villain called Red Ghost from Marvel Comics. And this was very surprising because I saw the whole movie and I didn't think anything about it till I got home, and I was like going back through the previews and things that I'd seen, and I saw that he was in the preview, and I was like, holy crap, he wasn't even in the movie at all. What happened to John Malkovich? He's this huge actor. He's probably a bigger actor than any other person in this entire movie. You know, I mean, like, where the heck was he? Well, evidently they cut out his part. They said he had a fantastic performance, very good performance in this movie, but they had to cut his part out completely. They said the movie was running too long, and they just couldn't fit him in, which was very unfortunate. So hopefully we see him later on in like the sequel or maybe these Avengers movies coming up, because I don't know how you could pay this guy, bring him in, and have him play this huge part and then not even use him. I know Disney's got a lot of money, and I know they got a lot of money to blow. I just don't see how they could do that with that big of an actor, but they did. They cut him out completely. So if you were expecting to see him and you had thought, oh man, he's one of my favorite actors, can't wait to see what he has to do in this movie, Well, I hate to spoil it for you there, but he is not a part of the Fantastic Four movie. Chalada Love is here as well. He's saying, hey, Biggie D, good to see ya. Kelvin Wong is saying deleted scenes. Yeah, so maybe when it gets to like DVD, home release, we'll get some deleted or extra scenes and we can actually watch to see what he had said and his part was going to be. But evidently, there's a part in the movie where, and you could actually see this in one of the previews, so I'm not spoiling it, but there's a point where Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, is fighting a big ape, like a King Kong type ape. Well, he's the leader of those apes in the movie. And that was supposed to be like another 15, 20-minute part that they just completely cut out. But, yeah, so everyone, I thought, did a great job with this movie. I can't say enough about each actor, how good this was. Just kind of running through this preview here to see if it brings up any other points. So this part here that you're seeing, this was Silver Surfer, Shia Bow, I think is her name. She was in the Ozark show. Ozark was a big show that I had watched on Netflix. And I was a little bit concerned with how they had gender swapped Silver Surfer for a female like that. But evidently, this character, she is like a big part of the comics as well. So if you read the Silver Surfer comics or the Fantastic Four comics or knew a lot about Galactus in the comic books, she was a big part of it. So it is authentic and it does fit the story that they're trying to tell. I guess I could say if there's anything that I would have liked to seen more was there was like this, and you would have seen this in previews too, so I'm not spoiling anything, but there was this kind of like love dynamic between Human Torch and Silver Surfer in the movie. And it didn't seem, even though like it was good enough, and it doesn't make me criticize the movie because of this. I just felt like they should have built on that a little bit more somehow, because like I don't know how he felt so strongly about Silver Surfer when he really knew nothing about her, and they had very little communication in the movie. So if anything, I would have said have some more scenes with them, just the two of them, where we can learn, why is the Human Torch so interested in Silver Surfer? Yeah, I know they kind of try to explain it in the previews with she's from space, he likes women, Johnny likes women. That's just not enough. They should have dug into that a little bit more and given us a little bit more, I think, on that part of it. They did have this dog in the preview as well. I think they were trying to, try to get a little bit of Superman's, what they did with Crypto, and just try and steal a little bit of that from them with that dog scene in the thing, because that's something they could have probably thrown in at the very end of the making of this movie because of Crypto, and they knew how successful Crypto was going to be for Superman. They got to do that for Fantastic Four. So we may be seeing more dogs, I think, in superhero movies, because people seem to like that in Superman. They threw it into the Fantastic Four. I think that we're going to start seeing more dogs, cats, pets in movies, comic book movies. So this was their house. They have like this man, or it's like a kind of like the Avengers Tower, but for the Fantastic Four. And you can see how everything is like modern, but it's set like in the 60s or the 70s. It's meant to kind of look futuristic, but it's modern. And kind of like the Jetsons is kind of like the vibe that they're going for. Also, if you had ever watched the Loki series on Disney Plus, the same director who did, or a lot of the, maybe it wasn't the director. I think the director did the Scarlet Witch show. So, like Scarlet Witch, but it's the same director, I believe, as the Scarlet Witch show. So let's see who it was. So director was Matt Shakman, and he is known for, let's see, WandaVision. So he did the WandaVision show on Disney Plus, and if you guys remember, it has that kind of Jetsons, like 60s, 70s look to it, and they did the same thing with this one. And I was really impressed with it. I liked it a lot, and I think they're going to keep going with this. This is the 828 or 838 universe, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have going for this in the future. So this is Galactus. He's at San Diego Comic-Con right now, so you guys may have noticed and seen some of this coverage already here at San Diego Comic-Con, but he is there. He's walking around, in fact. Let's take a look at that. Got a little bit of footage from San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, and they've got a lot of Fantastic Four going on at San Diego Comic-Con right now. And there's Herbie. Now, a good thing about Herbie is he's an actual robot, so it's not like CGI. It's not, they're not like making this with animation or anything like that. It is an actual robot in the movie, and it was made specifically, for this. So there was a high, like $200 million budget for this movie. I think it's already made over its $200 million budget already in its first weekend. But there he is, Herbie, actual real robot there at San Diego Comic-Con. So if you were there, you would have gotten a chance to see that. And Kelvin Wong is saying that is a great costume. Glairzilla is saying, sup, Biggie D, good to see you, Glairzilla. And Kelvin Wong is saying, I remember the female Human Torch becoming Nova for Galactus. And Calvin Wong, Planet of the Apes. So very cool. A lot of good coverage there at San Diego Comic-Con for Fantastic Four. Go check that out. So let's next get into this game. This is a game that we've been talking about on this channel for some time now. It has been constantly being added new characters to this game over the last few months. And at San Diego Comic-Con, they showed off the two new characters, Beta Ray Bill and the Silver Surfer. So we're getting two new characters for the beat 'em up. I think they pretty much filled out the entire roster for this new Marvel beat 'em up game. But I thought these were two great additions to this beat 'em up. Beta Ray Bill, I don't know a lot about, but he'll kind of fill that Thor. If you had Thor, in the game, he's made part of the major four Avengers characters. If you can't have Thor himself, I think having the Beta Ray Bill is definitely going to be a great addition to the lineup. And then with the success of Fantastic Four, having Silver Surfer in there, I think is definitely a big addition as well. Now, one concern I did have with putting Silver Surfer in this game, my biggest concern was that this is a beat 'em up where you're like walking around, you're running around the game. Silver Surfer's known for flying on his surfboard. So how are they going to integrate that into a beat 'em up game? And you'll see it in this preview. He's mostly kind of towards the ground, but you'll see he'll be able to come up, and there is a point where they're fighting a boss, and you'll see he can actually fly. So it looks like he will be able to fly in the game, just like he would in the comic. He won't be, just walking around the entire time. That was one concern I had about a flying character like Silver Surfer is, how are you going to put him into a beat 'em up game that's a side scroller like this? But there, you can see it right there, how he's kind of just flying around, and he can kind of take off. So that's good to see it, and see Silver Surfer, how they're going to integrate him into this game. Calvin Wong says, is this the same company that made the Shredder's Revenge game? Same company. This is the same company that has done a lot of these retro beat 'em up games. I think I've got an image here as well that I can show you that has the developer on it. Let's see here if I can find it. It's .timu. So this is the developer right here, and in the lower left, and you're gonna see they've made a lot of these like retro beat 'em up games. Let me see here which games they've done. Looks like they've done Streets of Rage 4, which is an excellent beat 'em up game. Love that game. Also Shredder's Revenge, and they're doing this one. So definitely have a lot of experience in the beat 'em up games, and I think they're the best one for the job for this one. This is going to be, if you guys have been watching PD7, Phil, he had a video on it over the weekend where like he was discussing like his favorite beat 'em up game is the X-Men, the classic Konami X-Men game. And this is going to basically be taking after that. A lot of that nostalgia you get from the classic X-Men beat 'em up game, you're going to get in this one. Now the character lineup is a little bit different. I think they're kind of going out of the box with the character lineup with this one. We've got, of course, Wolverine, Captain America, Venom, Storm, Spider-Man. Those are all the ones that you would expect to see in this. But then to have She-Hulk, to have you know, some of these other lesser-known characters in the game, I think are kind of unusual. Marvel may be pushing them to do that. You know, Marvel may be pushing them to use certain characters to try to help promote certain movies. So these are your two new ones, though, Beta Ray Bill and Silver Surfer. And we could see Galactus as well is going to be in this game as a villain. So that was also announced over San Diego Comic-Con. He's going to be a big villain in this game. But what other characters can they add? And I'd commented on their video on their San Diego Comic-Con trailer for this weekend that we definitely still are missing some, I think, important characters. And one that I would really like to see is going to be Cyclops. Cyclops is one of those characters where I just think we've got to get them in the mix here, is Cyclops. So hopefully we'll be able to get some extra ones. And then you guys put in the chat, you know, which Marvel characters do you think are missing from this game that they still have yet to announce? But if you guys have played the classic beat 'em up X-Men game, you know, Cyclops was always my favorite. Nightcrawler was up there as well. Would really like to see those characters get added. So we'll see if they end up adding any more. I definitely think that they will, but we'll have to wait and see. But they've got a pretty large lineup of characters already. And this is coming out, I don't know an exact date. They're saying 2025. They have not given us an exact date yet. But I would expect to see this come out in October, probably October 1st, because you've got basically all of August. They're going to go to expos around the country, show off the game at those gaming expos. They're also going to do that in September. So I think the last one that they're going to do is at the end of September. So I think the release of this game is going to be around the 1st of October, if I had to predict or guess on which one date that they're going to choose to release this game. Steps Gaming says, where is Toxic Crusaders beat 'em up? It's been like 3 years. And Steps Gaming is, are you a comic book stream now? Like I started the stream, have not been doing a lot of news this week on Home Arcade because we haven't really gotten much except for that Atari Pac-Man, and wasn't super interested in that, so I wasn't going to talk about that today. And then also that Buy Stuff Store steering wheel, wasn't really huge on it, so was going to leave it more for comic book stuff like Fantastic Four, this Marvel Cosmic Invasion that's coming out here very soon. Calvin Wong says the quality looks very good. Absolutely, it looks great. So that is your Marvel Cosmic Invasion. So let's look at this next. And so this is James Gunn's Peacemaker. I'd also put this on the thumbnail as well. And let's take just a second to listen to this because it kind of sets the scene for Peacemaker and what we're going to be watching next month when the show releases. So let's listen to this short clip here. Let me get the audio here too where we can hear it. That would help.
You know, what is part of the DCU? This is the world that Superman lives in. This is the world that creature commanders lives in. Up until this point, those are the only two things that are fully 100% canon, and the same thing is going to be true about Peacemaker Season 2. It's fully 100% canon in the DCU. Is Aquaman canon? We don't know. No, but my guess, I don't think Aquaman's canon.
There's a possibility that you could use the character in the future, but right now...
It's unlikely that Aquaman is a famous hero in the DCU as Superman in Peacemaker Season 2 is happening.
Right.
Other than that, I really think everything in this episode, is canon. So,
all right. So what he's saying there is that really the only person that they're going to exclude in the new DCU. So what happened when James Gunn took over the DC Universe or DC Studios as the not only like the CEO and like the president, but also as a director, is he had basically took it over right around when the Flash movie was coming out, if you guys remember that, towards the end of the Justice League movies. And he had basically taken over. They released that Blue Beetle movie, and then they had released the Aquaman, the second Aquaman movie. And then it kind of started changing. That's when he started really putting his hands into the future of DC. And one big decision he made was, like, Ben Affleck's Batman is gone, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is gone, Henry Cavill's Superman, he's not going to continue with that. He's going to recast all these characters. Now, Jason Momoa, who played Aquaman, he decided to recast him as Lobo. So Jason Momoa is actually still going to be a part of the new DCU by James Gunn, but he's going to be playing Lobo, which is a villain in the Supergirl movie. There's been news actually this week that Henry Cavill, who played the old Superman, is actually going to be coming back as a villain in the newer movies that he's making. So that's big news. So Henry Cavill will be back, but he is going to be back as a villain of Lobo. Now, also, what Marvel or what not DC characters are going to be left out is what he's stating here is Aquaman. So not Jason Momoa, but the character of Aquaman will basically not exist in this new DCU. Or if he were to exist, he's not going to be popular. People aren't going to talk about him. You're probably not going to see him anytime soon if he ever comes. So that's the big news, I think, out of this, is that of all these characters, we're going to see Batman come back. We're going to see Wonder Woman come back. We're going to see the Flash. All those characters are coming back except for Aquaman. And I'm not sure why he made that decision, but it sounds like it's still open to change. Like his wife had said there, there's still that opportunity or possibility that Aquaman could come back. So we'll see if that happens. Mike Hawkhurst is here. He's got a wave. Good to see you, buddy. Glad Mike has made it. Calvin Wong says, so forget Aquaman because he sucks. I guess James Gunn is just not a big fan of that character. Not sure, his reasoning. He didn't really explain his reasoning behind that. But he is the decision maker. And let's take a look now at the Peacemaker. This is a preview for season 2 of Peacemaker, and you can see he's got that Ford like F-250, F-350 truck there. I think that's pretty cool. This must be his house. And talking about Peacemaker season 1. So I haven't finished Peacemaker season 1. I started it. Wasn't the biggest fan of it. It was all jokes. It was all just kind of corny jokes, and they weren't taking it too seriously. And I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then I turned it off, and I never picked it back up. But now that season 2 is coming out, and Peacemaker is going to be a part of this new universe, I was like, I'm really more so interested in watching it now and catching up on season 1 and then starting season 2. So let's take a look at this preview here. He's got this motorcycle here, which fits his suit and his the stars and everything he has going with his superhero costume. And it looks like they're bringing back all the original characters from season 1 as well. This is so this short scene here is that pocket dimension. So if you guys had seen Superman, there is this pocket dimension that Lex Luthor has that he can use to go into this other world where he can like basically gel these or imprison all these like superheroes or all these people that he doesn't like, and he can basically jump in and out of it. And in this show, how they're going to bring Peacemaker from what they call the DCEU to the DCU is they're going to use this pocket dimension. So he's going to jump through this portal within the show. It's going to take him from the old DCEU, which is like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, that universe, and bring him into the new universe, which is the Superman movie that everyone just saw this month. So it's going to be set, and there you see Rick Flag Sr., which he was also in Superman. He'll play a part in the show. Also, Hawkgirl will play a part in the show. Green Lantern will be in it. James Gunn's brother is going to be a character in it as well. Like the Phantom Zone is what Kevin Wong calls it. So that's him walking through that portal, through that door right there. And then, like, talking about dogs, you know, like how I was like predicting that we're going to see a lot of dogs in comic book movies coming up now that crypto's been so popular. I mean, we're just seeing it again. We just saw it in Fantastic Four. Now we're seeing it again in Peacemaker. So this is going to be an ongoing thing, I think. And then there's that universe. Kind of looks like Doom, right? Looks like the Doom video game. But I think this is going to be a great show. I wasn't a huge fan of season 1, but of course I didn't finish it. So maybe I got to finish it before I can give a full opinion on it. But the first few episodes didn't keep me going. I'm going to go back and rewatch it. I'll let you guys know what I think of season 1 when I finish it. But I think season 2 is going to just be that much better now because he's got more funding. He's got better actors to work with now, more at his disposal to work with because of the success of Superman. And then the Supergirl movie coming next year. So I expect this show to be very good and much better than the first season. So that starts August 21st, so a little less than a month. I've got like 3 weeks to catch up on season 1 so I can get up to speed on what it's going to be like going into season 2. But y'all let me know. Peacemaker, you guys looking forward to this show? I am. All right, so that is Peacemaker season 2. We've gotten through pretty much all our movie talk. I don't think we have any more movie or TV shows today. So started the show with those 3 subjects: the Fantastic Four movie, the Marvel Cosmic Invasion, as well as the Peacemaker season 2. Now I want to get into some other subjects this week that were kind of important to me or things that I'd followed that I wanted to share with you guys. Let's also take a look at the poll. Right now we've got 25 votes. What guest would you most like to see join us for the next show? We've got P-Dub's Arcade Loft with 8%. We've got James Hates Everything with 20%. PD7 with 64%, and Glenn's Retro Show with 8%. So it looks like we've leading is Phil, PD7, second James Hates Everything. So definitely let your voice be known because when I invite our next guest, whoever is most voted for, whoever everyone wants to see most, is who I'm going to go to first to ask and let them know, hey, you guys, the viewers, want to see these creators on the show. And we'll try and get them as our next guest for that 99th episode of Chill and Chat. So next I want to talk about, this was pretty sad this week. This was Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan has been a long time, part of, nostalgia in the 80s, 90s. If you're a wrestling fan, everybody's going to know who Hulk Hogan is. Even if they weren't a fan of him, he was a big part of wrestling. He also was a very big part of even some movies in the 90s, so you probably would have seen him in movies, TV shows, commercials, pretty much anywhere and everywhere in the 90s. When I think of wrestling, this is what I think of first, is Hulk Hogan. Either Hollywood Hogan or Hulk Hogan. And unfortunately, the man passed away this week And I just wanted to kind of discuss him and his legacy, and and I just remember him being a really big part of that as well. And then the movies too, like Gremlins, I used to watch growing up, and he was in the Gremlins movie, Gremlins 2. So yeah, he even had like a movie where he was like a lead actor in a movie as well. I can't remember which one that was, but I can picture the poster in my head. Suburban Commando, that was it. So let me show you guys this poster so you can see it. But you can tell me, do you guys remember this movie, Suburban Commando? Because he was just such a great wrestler, but also a great actor. He also had that reality TV show where he had done that in the late 2000s with his daughter, where his daughter tried to become a big time artist and music artist, and you got to see like his inside life and his family life at home in that Hogan TV show. So he just has been a really big part of all kinds of entertainment, and it was really sad to see him pass away. Kind of unexpected. It was all starting to turn around, and he was going to be okay, and then just suddenly passed away in the middle of the night. I think of a heart attack is what ended up happening. But Hulk Hogan, he probably put a lot of miles on his body. I mean, not only with the wrestling, but I'm sure, you don't get a body like this without doing some type of steroids. That couldn't have been good for his, B. Kirby says Phil's awesome. Absolutely. Would love to get Phil on the show. So hopefully, with these polls that we're doing tonight and your votes, he'll want to come join us next week. So right now he's leading at 65% with 26 votes. Steve Sell says, just caught your show. Phil gets my vote, PD7. Calvin also says he was. I have to watch Gremlins 2 again. And Johnny Blaze is here, says, no holds barred is my guilty pleasure. So talking about Hulk Hogan, you guys put in the chat there, what do you remember about Hulk or Hollywood Hogan? They're getting to their later years as well. And I guess this is what we have to start getting used to, is the legends we remember growing up aren't going to be around forever. And yeah, sad to see him pass away this week, but definitely wanted to talk about him and what he had to what he was a part of and the legacy he left. So did say no more shows or movies, but I did have one other one that I wanted to discuss. So it looked like at San Diego Comic-Con there was a brief showing of the Coyote versus Acme movie. So let's take a quick look at that. This is just let's wait until we get the real trailer, the full-on trailer, before we judge it. But that's Coyote versus Acme, which was announced at San Diego Comic-Con this week. Also, San Diego Comic-Con had announced this. I'm not a big Lego person, but I do remember my Game Boy very well. And this is the Lego reveals the 1-to-1 Nintendo Game Boy model set for $59.99. And this is $60. It's not playable. It's just like a Lego set that you put together that looks almost identical to like the size and recreation of the original Game Boy, but in a Lego set. I'm personally not going to run out and get one of these. I'm not a Lego collector. Now, if it was playable, like a real Game Boy that actually played real Game Boy games, I would most definitely be running out to get one of these. Like one of my favorite handhelds is the Ambernick that I have, which is in the style of this Game Boy. And I love that handheld. I just love how it feels in my hands. I'm a huge fan of the Game Boy form factor, and wish they would bring it back. That's all the newer modern handhelds. They've got the widescreen with the controls on the side of the screen. I just really wish they would make like a modern handheld in the style of the Game Boy, because I love having the controls right under the screen and it having just be like a slim kind of horizontal design. Like this fits really good in the hand, and would love to see them bring that back. And maybe with the success of the Lego Game Boy, that'll fuel Nintendo to remake a new Game Boy. Make one in the $199, $150 price range would be huge, I think, for Nintendo and for us as collectors of handhelds to get something like that. Kind of like they did with the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, the Sega Genesis Classic systems. You know, make a Game Boy Classic. They did do the what are those? The walk and talk things. I have one of them actually. I have the Zelda one. Game and Talk, Game and Watch. I have one of those. They made these recently in the last couple of years. So who knows? You know, maybe they will make a Game Boy handheld, like a modern one. But this was the Game and Watch they made just a couple of years ago. So just some thought there, and hopeful that, you know, they'll bring us something like that would be nice, especially with that Lego Game Boy coming out. Johnny Blaze says, sad 2/3 of the NWO is gone now. Very sad to see us get older and for some of the legends we grew up watching to see them passing away. B. Kirby says, growing up in the late 70s and then in the 80s, every kid I knew loved Hulk Hogan. So let's take a look here next at this community post, because I'm in the iArcade community, like Facebook community. And this post came up because if you guys remember Retro Mania Wrestling, they're bringing in Randy Savage. So I've got the Retro Mania, iArcade here in my living room, and they had announced this a couple weeks ago. I don't think I brought it up on my show because I was a little disappointed because it wasn't coming to iArcade, like this update with Macho Man Randy Savage. It was just going to be for the console releases, like the Switch and PlayStation and Xbox and Steam. And that we weren't going to be getting this update for the iArcade Retromania version. So this is coming out on September 13th. Well, I noticed this post today. It was just about earlier this morning, about 5-6 hours ago. Says, hey all, this is Mike, the creator of Retromania. I've been talking to Mike D, and we are going to be working on an iArcade update now that the DLC is almost out. But I'm writing because I need some help, and Mike recommend I post here. John was nice enough to give Colt Cabana, a great guy, by the way, a cabinet a couple years ago, and Colt took his time and finally set it up this past week. So he's had it this whole time. He's never plugged it in or, you know, put it together and turned it on. He finally did this week. He says, I've already gotten him the USB enabler. So that's the mystery encoder USB enabler, which allows us to sideload games onto it. He says, but I have I'm asking, I'm assuming the iArcade version of my game is online somewhere. I'm sure I can rebuild the code, but I'm not sure yet if iArcade did anything to it before the iArcade machines can have you download it. So he's worried that maybe iArcade messed with the code a little bit before they put it on the store to sell it. And he's unsure of that. So he's asking, can anyone help me get Colt up and running, like get that iArcade, because it had never been turned on, and I think you had to turn it on to get it to update and all that. And maybe he's running into some issues. So he was asking for some advice. But what this leads me to believe is if Mike, the creator of Retromania Wrestling, is saying he can rebuild the code for the iArcade, that leads me to believe that he potentially may be setting up to do that for the Retromania to give us that update with Macho Man Randy Savage. And it may not be advertised. It may not be available publicly, you know, on some website publicly. But if you're part of the community, the iArcade community, and you were part of that mystery encoder, USB enabler, and all of that going on last year, and you're part of those groups, you may be able to get the update for Retromania. And we may, in fact, be able to update our cabinets to get the new DLC with Macho Man. So that would be huge. I would love to have that DLC. I'd love to have that character because I remember Macho Man very well from his wrestling days as well as in the movies. You know, he was in the first Spider-Man movie, also in the commercials, Snap into a Slim Jim, you know, all that. So I'd love to have him in the game, but even more so, I'd like to have him on the artwork on the outside of the cabinet too. Like the side panels, I probably wouldn't mess with, but The kick plate I would. I wasn't a huge fan of the kick plate to begin with. But yeah, if you see right under the game deck there where the coin door would go, maybe get like a skin or something I can throw on there to cover that up and have Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage on the kick plate, I think would be really cool. So we'll see if they're able to get this done and to get this added, but definitely more hopeful that this could actually happen now with the news was posted earlier today in that Facebook group that the creator is still a part of the iArcade community. He can still update the game, and he's still willing to like pass that along to us in the community. But here's an actual image of that iArcade Retromania Wrestling I have in the living room, and you can see it there just how great it looks. And this has been like such a fantastic cabinet, such an amazing machine. I've modded it with the ultimate control panel from Glenn's Retro Show. I've got the speaker grill covers, which I've put on there, which look really good. I've also done the mystery encoder USB enabler, which allows me to sideload games onto it. So I've got like a full collection of games. I also can plug in my light gun, my send in light gun, play light gun games on it. I mean, this is just like, oh, and I've done the BOE screen replacement as well. So Buy Stuff Store has a BOE screen. You can kind of see it in this image, how it's kind of washed out on the left side when you're looking at the screen from the left side. Well, that BOE replacement that I'd put in it is like perfect. You know, it just like, it looks so good. The colors are good. The viewing angles from the left, right, center all look great. Just such a great, awesome machine. And I brought this image up because I'd remembered that they used to have this iArcade for $2.99 plus shipping. So you may have remembered towards the end of the iArcade when they were about to go out of business, they were like clearancing these out, marking them down to $2.99. So you could have gotten one for less than $300. And I just felt like everyone back then should have moved on it for that price, because these are just such great multicades. They're not too big either. Like if you're in a smaller space like me in an apartment, you don't have a ton of room. Man, this is like amazing arcade machine, multicade to have. And just to realize like that they were selling this thing for $300 is just absolutely unbelievable that they were doing it for that low. So X Arcade, they're doing a sale right now, a summer sale. This is it right here. X Arcade summer sale on all products, 20% off. You can get 20% off with Summer 20 for the Tank Stick Max and the Tank Stick, but I think the big product that they're selling right now, the one I'm most interested, is the 15% off for the Arcade to TV-HR bundle with the stand, with everything. You can get 15% off of it with ATV 15. So that's a pretty big discount right there, 15% off. And then use those promo codes if you're interested to get that amount off. All right, so next thing I wanted to look at with you guys is going to be this Williams. I've been telling you guys I've been following the Williams new pack that's going to release. We're getting very close now. We're only a few days away from this pack actually releasing. Devastator Omega says the Tank Stick Max is worth every penny. Absolutely it is. These are great products. Cannot wait to get my X Arcade, for pinball, for the Pinball FX VR. Have not pulled the trigger yet. I'm really waiting for this new kit to come out, the pinball kit with the plunger, with the haptic feedback, with the accelerometer and all that. When that releases, they're going to definitely, I think, have like one that's pre-built that has everything already, in it, where you don't have to install it yourself. When that time comes and they finally release that version, that's when I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to end up getting that X Arcade. So this is what they're sharing right now. Zen Studios is sharing this image on their Facebook. And this is what they had posted. They said, clues are everywhere if you know where to look. A mystery is about to unfold with the Williams Pinball Volume 9. Are you ready to uncover every table in the pack? ? So they've announced Pinbot as the first of the three. There are two more to come. Now, I was under the impression that all three of these games were going to be before 1990, and they were sold over 3,001 units. That was the criteria. But we had saw last week that Mikey was in the chat, and Mikey follows this stuff very well, follows it closely. He had said that the next two are actually going to be from after 1990, actually made in the 90s. So that really opens the door for some really great Williams tables if that's the case. I did comment on the Zen Studios Facebook group post, are these next two going to be coming from 1990 or after? And they did not respond. So I'm not sure on that. Mikey may have good information, may not. I can't make that call because I don't know. I've asked Zen. They have not responded yet. So we don't know 80s, 90s, what it's going to be yet. But just going to be, definitely an older Williams table. So this is the stream itself. So this is coming up at the end of the month. I think it's on the 31st. So on Thursday is when this stream is going to be taking place for Pinball Bites. And they're going to announce those next two on Thursday. Calvin Wong says, unfolding, uncover clues. Yeah, that was the thing too, is like, what are they referring to? Because in the image, there's nothing to see. So I don't know where the clues are coming from. They must be on their Facebook or on their Twitter or on their YouTube somewhere. And you may have to really decipher, like, by watching their content, where those clues are hidden. But evidently they're hidden somewhere. And there's ways of finding out what the next two are going to be from little things that, like hidden Easter eggs and things that they've dropped. So we'll have to wait and see what that is. I don't know. I'd have to do a lot more digging to give you guys opinions on what I think it's going to be. I told you Elvira's one. I commented on their Facebook, Elvira and the Party Monsters or Elvira Scared Stiff. Either one of those would be huge. And I've commented both of those, and they've been responsive when I say that. So fingers crossed that it's going to be an Elvira table, and they haven't been ruling that out. And sometimes they'll respond, and it's pretty evident that whatever you're sharing is wrong because they'll make it known in their response. And in my responses I've been receiving from them, they're kind of leading me on to believe that Elvira may be one of the next releases of this pack. We'll just have to wait and see. Sherlock Holmes, ? That would make sense with the clues there in that image with the magnifying glass, but not sure. We'll just have to wait and see. So a little bit of New Wave Toys. They had sent out an email. They're doing a summer sale right now. So you can get Zoltar for $99.99. That's $50 off that $150 price tag. If you guys want to get Zoltar for $50 off, that's a pretty good deal. I love my Zoltar. You'll see it back here on the shelf. You can't really see it too well because the camera's cutting it off, but I got it there. I love that Zoltar machine. Also, when I see them out in public, it's just so much cooler knowing you have like a little replica version at home. I even got the roll of additional tickets because you can go through those tickets pretty quickly if you're peeling them off and actually using them and reading them how you would on the original, tearing them off each time. So I got the refill if I ever need to put a new roll in there. They got those for half off as well. They're normally $20. You can get them for $10 this week. And not sure exactly when this ends. I'd have to pull the email back up to tell you. I guess I could do that quickly just to give you guys that information here on stream. Big supporter of New Wave Toys. I love their products. And let's take a look here at their email. Might as well just pull up their entire email. So here it is. Get a little Zoltar fortune teller in your life for just $99.99. Limited time offer. There's your fortune teller refill for $9.99. It says it's a limited time while supplies last. But it doesn't say a date in which this ends, does it? So it just says limited time offer. So this may be going until they're gone, which that could happen at any point. I haven't checked the website today to see if it's gone. So maybe just sold until there's no inventory left. And $15 is the MSRP on those fortune teller refills. They got them for $9.99. And then $50 off the Zoltar fortune telling machine. So that's a really good deal, I think. I don't think you're going to get a better deal than that. Even when people were pre-ordering, I think they got them for like $80. So great price. So this was a game that I've been looking at and I've been following now for a couple weeks. Been playing a lot of my Wii U lately, and been trying to get a hold of like really good deals on games. This is definitely not a good deal to get. This game has really held its value. I remember seeing it back in like 2015, 2016. There was a Walmart Black Friday. I'd walked in on the Black Friday day and stood in line back when you used to stand in line outside the store and then let everybody in at the same time. And I got over to like the video game aisle and they had this one out, you know, in the aisle for the Black Friday deal. And I remember they had it on like on sale that Black Friday for, I think it was $60 with the amiibo and everything. And I was like, no, I'll just wait till the price goes down a little farther and get it used or something later on. Boy, was I wrong. Because this game has really been holding its value. Even a used version of just like the disc is going for like anywhere from like $80 to $100. And then if you want the full box set with the amiibo, I mean, it could be upwards to $200, $300. And I've been following eBay closely trying to get a good deal on one of these, and they just do not exist. Like, it doesn't exist right now. So not going to be able to get Twilight Princess, unfortunately, for that price. So what I ended up doing is I bid on one today. I did like a make your offer on a Wii version, because I noticed like the Wii, not the HD Wii U version, but the one that came before it, which was like the Wii version where you have to use the nunchuck and all that. Those copies are going for like $20, $30. Like GameStop has it for $30. eBay, you can get it used for about $20. So I made an offer to a guy. He had $7 shipping, and I offered him $5, and he accepted. So I was able to get the game for like $13 out the door, and that should arrive sometime next week. So let me see here if I can pull up at least the price, like the original ad for you guys, so you can see that. So here was the original ad. He had it for $13 with $8 shipping, and I offered him $5 with the $8 shipping, and he accepted. Now, I did not read the ad closely enough, because like if I read it closely, he basically says that that this title is untested. Like, he has not tested this yet. So I was looking at the disc. If I look at the top, it looks really good from the top. No scratches or anything. Also, the instruction booklet looks really good, I thought. And then the case. This is also the Nintendo Selects. I'm glad I got that, because I actually don't have a Nintendo Selects Wii game yet. So this will be good to get this box as well with that artwork. But this kind of worries me. Like, if I look at this, I'm starting to see some scratches. And then right here bothers me too. Like, if you look in the upper left there, right here, I hope that's not like outside scratches on the disc itself, because I won't even put it in my Wii U if it's really jagged on those edges there on the end. I'm not seeing that on the top really anywhere, so I think it'll be okay. But I just can't tell. Sometimes images can look kind of weird and throw off what you're actually getting. So hopefully that looks good, because if you read condition, it says acceptable, and it also says untested. So who knows if it's going to work or not. I guess if it doesn't work, I can buy just the disc, by itself, maybe get a good deal on that, and I'll have the box and the booklet already. And if I only paid $13 for the box and the booklet, and the disc doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, I would say. So that'll be okay. But I'm looking forward to jumping into this game, even though it's not the version I wanted. This is the HD version that we're looking at here, which would have used like a regular style controller, the Pro controller. I'm going to have to use the nunchuck and all that. And I know that can be a little bit awkward, but it also can give you some benefits too. I think maybe he uses the bow and arrow a little bit in this game. So that'd be kind of cool to play it on the Wii version for that reason. But I know nothing really about this. I just know I love Zelda games. This is one that I missed that I never really got to play, but I know it had really good reviews. So looking forward to jumping into some Twilight Princess here very soon. Calvin Wong says, cool Sig machine at $80. Dark Realm Gaming says, hey, Big D, hope you and everyone in your chat had a fantastic weekend. Stay safe and take care, buddy. Thank you, Dark Realm. Appreciate the message to everyone and being a part of the chat this evening. Calvin says, there are companies that can resurface scratched up game discs. Okay, thanks for the tip there, Calvin. I'll have to look into that. If this ends up arriving messed up, too scratched up, unable to use it, maybe that's something I can look into. It may be cheaper to just buy another disc, or maybe look into getting that one I have repaired. So I'll check that out, and appreciate the suggestion on that. So that was all our images for this week. We pretty much got through everything on that, as well as all the videos that I had uploaded for the stream. We've covered all that so far as well. So I guess we'll just leave the last part of the stream open, just kind of for, random discussion. We won't have it all planned and slides for it, but just random discussion. Just kind of thinking about, this week, and, we had the Hulk Hogan thing. We had the news on the steering wheel for the Buy Stuff store. Guess we could take a look at that since it is big news this week. I've only bought a couple of things from the Buy Stuff store. I bought the booster for my At Games Legends Ultimate from them, which I was actually very impressed with it. I actually had a little bit of an issue with I thought the T-molding was turning blue, when in fact there was just like some plastic on the outside of it I had not pulled off. And I had it on there for like 2 years before I realized you can just pull that plastic off, and now it looks perfect. So that was not an issue. Also had the BOE screen replacement for my iArcade, which, like I told you, it looks amazing. There's no washout on it now. The colors are amazing. Looks really good. I had a little bit of an issue with some discoloration in one of the quarters of the screen because one of the screws that I'd screwed in was a little too tight. I'd reached out to them for help on that, and I wouldn't say their customer service is like perfect. I mean, it's going to take them some time to get back to you, but they did end up getting back to me, so I got to give them credit for that. And they did do the troubleshooting with me and told me you got to loosen that screw a little bit and that should go away. Initially, it did not go away when I did that, so I was still pretty upset. But then shortly after that, like a couple weeks later, it went away completely. So the troubleshooting they gave me was it did work. So I got to give them credit. May have been a little unfair with Buy Stuff Store just because I had a couple of issues with both products I bought. But in reality, both things that went wrong were things that I did where I just wasn't aware of what I was doing, or I didn't know. I didn't like with that protective film on the T-molding. Like I just didn't know. So got to give them credit. The only thing I could say is like the customer service is a little hit or miss. It may take them a while to get back to you, but they should get back to you. And that's one thing about buying like these third-party products and stuff is you always worry, are you going to be able to get a hold of someone if you have an issue? And like if you have to return something, how difficult will it be? And that was kind of something I ran into with the BOE screen was if I was going to return it, I would have had to pay shipping back to them, and they weren't going to cover that shipping. So just keep that in mind. And they're in Canada, so that's something you got to consider, something you got to think about, I think, when buying this stuff. But here is the triple 360 wheel deck. Pre-orders are going to start July 30th. This is what it's looking like. You have these 360 wheels. It looks like you have one that can like go on your at games, or you can get the pedestal. So if you're like a fan of off-road or the games that utilize these 360 wheels, I think this is going to be a good idea, a good purchase for you guys. I'm not going to be running out and getting one of these. Just because like I'm not a big fan of like these older style racing games outside of the off-road game, and I don't know if I really need a dedicated arcade or a dedicated setup for that style game at home. And having 3 wheels in such a small area, I think would be kind of a cluster next to 2 other people to begin with. So I don't think I'm going to run out and get these. Calvin Wong says, I see that Zelda game available on Macari too. So I'll have to check that out. I've not used that site before, but let's take a look and see if they have it and what it's going for. Because, you know, I just bought it on the Wii, but if I could get it, you know, on the Wii U for a good price, and I'd never bought from this place before. But this is just like a Google of it here. $83.60 for the GameCube version. So that's one thing to think about with this game, is it originally came out on GameCube. So they've had 3 versions of this game: GameCube, Wii, and Wii U version. This is the definitive HD version, the one I was trying to get. GameStop has it for $95. Crazy, right? So here's a Wii version for $11.73. So that's pretty good. $12.86. So that's right around what I paid for it on eBay. I paid about $13. So right there, I could have saved maybe $1 or $2. I'll have to start using that website, Calvin. I had never used them before, and I don't know, you know, or knew if they were going to be reputable or not. I've kind of avoided them in the past, seeing them on my Google searches. I've never thought about using them, but if you say they're legitimate and you've never had an issue with them before, then I don't see any reason why I can't get that one, or I can't get that game with that website. So thanks for the suggestion. Now the other news. So we had the 360 gaming wheel this week. Oh, the Atari. So let's take a look at that Atari Pac-Man, because I'm not big on Atari games. It was a little bit before my time. I didn't start collecting any of the gaming systems till the NES. So the Atari 2600 is not, you know, one that I'm going to run out and get. You know, it's not one that really draws me in. But I do love the color on this game. Like, I just like the colors look really badass, right? The yellow looks good. The Pac-Mans and the ghosts on the front look really good. Comes with the Pac-Man game. The yellow controller with the Pac-Man logo on top. I think they hit it out of the park with that. Looks great. $170, I think, is pretty steep price there. And how, you know, we've been arcade one-up collectors. We've got a million ways to play Pac-Man. Do we really need to be able to play it on an Atari on our TV? I don't know. But for these Pac-Man fans out there, people that love collecting this stuff, this is awesome. This is Pac-Man nostalgia to the max. I think they did an incredible job with the colors and the look of this system. Looks really good. And even the game it comes with, like the box art, the cart, all that looking great. Controller looks really good too. And I think they've even got some like extra controllers. So yeah, you can get a controller for every color of Ghost as well. So this is the Blinky controller. So this is great marketing. But like, I think you can end up getting every controller in every color for every Ghost. Pinky, Blinky, Inky, and Clyde. So this is cool what they're doing here. And if you guys remember, Atari is not just bringing out their old systems or old games. They're also releasing some other really bangers too. Like they're releasing that MK collection. They've also, because they own that developer who's doing MK. Let me get that pulled up here. MK collection. And this is coming out, I think, here in a few months. Legacy collection, that's what they're calling it. And here it is. So Atari, see, even the Atari 2600 Pac-Man edition advertisement comes up whenever you bring up Mortal Kombat. But yeah, this is the Ultimate Fighting Collection that they're going to be putting out. So Atari's doing some really cool stuff right now. And then they've also got, past games that they've done, which is like the, let's take a look at those. They did the Golden Tee Arcade Classics, which we talked about last week, which is really cool. So Golden Tee Arcade Classics, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. They've done these Atari remakes, which are like modern remakes of the classic Atari games, like the Recharge games. What else? They've got these Balls of Steel. If you guys remember, My Arcade's putting out a little pinball machine, and Balls of Steel is going to be the virtual pinball games on that. So yeah, got to give props to Atari. They're putting out some really cool stuff. Not to mention all the games that they've been putting out over the last couple of years, but they're just really stepping up their game even more, I think, this year with that Pac-Man console release and this MK Legacy collection coming later this year. All really cool stuff. Calvin Wong says, I've bought many video games used from Macari. It's good. And Calvin Wong says they own Midway. I did not know that they own Midway. I think this is still owned by the original company, NetherRealms Studios or whatever that makes Mortal Kombat. I think they still own it. Digital Clips is the developer, and then Atari owns Digital Clips. So Digital Clips has done a ton of games as well, like over the last few years, like retro titles. So we can take a look at those as well. Atari owns this company. So they did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind, Tetris Forever. I want to check that out. And then Atari 50th collection that came out. That was also in that arcade one up last year, that Atari 50th. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. This one they did. This one was really great release. Like all the extras that they add into this game too. They just jam-packed it all. And also it's got all this information, slides, things that you can look at as just like extras in the game. Not to mention that they included like the NES and the Game Boy versions. They're going to do that with the MK Legacy collection as well. And then they did a Disney Classics game collection. So cool stuff that they're putting out. Definitely geared, and this is meant for like arcade fans like us that collect this stuff. So these games are marketed towards the home arcade community for sure. And B. Kirby says, I thought Warner Brothers owned Midway. And I think they still do. Like, I think Warner Brothers still owns Mortal Kombat, but they're selling the rights to Digital Clips, Atari, to produce that MK collection that's coming out. So that's pretty much it tonight, guys. Can't really think of much more that I wanted to cover. I did make that video on the 2 new deluxe arcades last week, right before my computer crapped out on me. If you guys caught my Wednesday stream, my computer completely crapped out on me. I did stream Wednesday from this smaller media PC that I have, and it seems to be doing the job. Got me through Wednesday's night stream, and then it's getting me through tonight's stream. But my new PC arrives tomorrow, in fact, and I'm really looking forward to setting up that PC. Let's take a look at it real quick. We'll wrap up with the PC I bought. It's called a Victus 15 gaming desktop. So let's see here. So this is the HP website. I noticed I paid $450 for it, and the price went up. Went up to $499. So let's see if I can find it today and see what it's going for today. And I went for like the least expensive one. So, oh, it's back down to $549, it looks like. So this is the price I paid. I found a $20 coupon for it as well. Oh, no. No, oh, it's gone up. It's gone way up. So wait, this is the HP 15L gaming desktop window. Oh, this is the Ryzen 5. Okay, I did not get the Ryzen 5. I got, let's see if mine's still available. It looks like mine may have sold out. No. Ryzen 5 iCore. This is the one I got right here. It's gone way up. So I paid $450, and then I had a $20 coupon. I had a $20 coupon that I'd signed up for their newsletter. So I got it for $429 out the door. It's going for $629 today. So it's gone way up in price. $200 more than what I paid for it this weekend. So it's a HP 15L gaming desktop, Windows 11, Intel Core i5, 16 gigs of RAM. Now mine, okay, so this is a little different. Mine had a 256 SSD. So half the amount of storage space, but it was $200 less than what this is going for. And I can easily upgrade the storage to whatever size I want, which I'd probably go for like a 2 terabyte anyways. So it does not look like the one I bought. Okay, Ryzen 5 256, so that's not it. Intel 5 512. Yeah, so the one I bought, the exact one, doesn't seem to be available anymore. Let me go to my confirmation email and click on that link and see if the listing's gone. Maybe I bought at the right time, because it doesn't seem like the one I got at that price is even available anymore. I'm going to search it and see if it comes up. Okay, here it is. Wow. So it went back up to full price. It's $949 now. So this is the exact one I got. Windows 11, i5, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 SSD, Intel Arc A380, $949. I paid $429. And so I feel much better about my purchase now than I did when I bought it last week. That's for sure. Let's see here if I can show you guys the price I paid without giving you guys all the information off my receipt. Here it is. Okay. So this is what I paid. Subtotal $949. Instant discount of $500. Coupon of $20. Out the door with tax, I paid $464.82 for a computer that's currently listed at $950. So I would say I got a good deal on it, no doubt about it. Seems like I bought it at the right time, and it's not going to be like the greatest gaming PC, but it's for streaming, because that's all I'm going to be doing with it is just streaming. This is going to be just fine for that, and should be all I need. And I'll be getting this tomorrow. I'll be setting it up, getting everything installed on it throughout the week. But it's good to know that I have this little media PC I'm on currently that can get me by in the meantime. So I can still stream with you guys, still make some content. And also, I showed you guys on Wednesday night all the PC games I have on this gaming PC I've been streaming on up until last week. I'm about to hook that up to my At Games Legends Ultimate, play some more Modern Fighters on it. Also, I'm going to hook it up to my TV, start playing some PC games through my gaming PC on my TV again, like I did before I got into YouTube, now that I have an extra computer for that. Tariffs? Don't know, but I haven't been following the tariff situation, so I don't know much about that. Devastator Omega says, I'm going to email them to get that sweet Big ED discount or I won't buy their PC. Yeah, just let them know that you had a friend that got one at that price. See if they'll match it. And Papa Brad's Gaming says the Big ED discount. And if you guys know anything about this channel and anything about my gaming and shopping for games, I am like a big time discount guy. I don't even really start considering things until it's heavily discounted. And then that's when I start the buying process. I hate paying full price for stuff. Every once in a while, if it's like something I'm really happy with, or like I really want to give credit to the developer or the creator of something, I will pay full price just because I want them to succeed and I want them to make that money. But it's very rare that that ever happens. Normally, I'm always trying to just save, get the biggest discount I can on everything. Especially if it's gaming, it's not something I have to have. I'm most definitely going to try and get as much off as I can. And that's what's really good about this channel and, you know, following Biggie D's Arcade is that we're always looking for the deals. I'm always sharing deals with you and always want to, you know, provide you guys with ways that you can save money yourselves. Just like a lot of the home arcade stuff, like the arcade one-ups that used to be notorious for having discounts like every week. We just haven't been seeing those discounts. At Games never marks anything down hardly. It's not in retail anymore either. Maybe with Basic Fun right around the corner and that coming out, we can start seeing more discounts again, because I think they're going to be mass producing the Basic Fun cabinets. And like with WrestleFest, just, you know, talking about Hulk Hogan passing away this week, you know, I think the value of like WrestleFest and, you know, games that included characters and wrestlers like Hulk Hogan are going to go way up in value also. So that's kind of an interesting aspect of, you know, the passing away of Hulk Hogan is all his stuff is going to become collectible type stuff now. And, you know, that WrestleFest arcade that's coming out by Basic Fun later this year is going to be really even more so popular now with the news of Hulk Hogan and his passing. So let's take a look at the poll now, guys. I wanted to kind of take this information now and in the poll, because it looks like we're at 29 votes and we're about to end the show. So I want to go over this with you guys. It looks like we had a total of 29 votes. 10% had voted for P-Dub's Arcade Loft. 17% had voted for James Hates Everything. 66% had voted for Phil PD7 and 7% for Glenn's Retro Show. So I think the audience has definitely spoken that we've got 66% of the audience wants to see Phil PD7 as a guest on the next show Sunday. Now, Phil is not committed yet to coming back on the show, but I do stay in regular contact with Phil. So hopefully with this information, I can show it to him, say, hey, you know, my viewers, regular viewers who watch the show every Sunday during the live stream, we've got 29 of them who want to see you, or 66% of the 29 want to see you most. You know, can we get you on the show next Sunday? And hopefully he'll accept. If not, you know, we'll go to James, we'll go to P-Dubs, and we'll just work our way down this list until we've got the guests we want to see. I'm actually emailing these poll results to myself right now, so I have this data. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we get Phil on the show next, because next Sunday is going to be the 99th episode of Chill and Chat. Hard to believe we're almost to 100 episodes, but we will be at 100 very shortly here in less than 2 weeks. And that 99th episode is really going to be our build-up to the 100th episode. I'm going to start advertising our giveaways next week, start building up to what items will be available in the giveaways, things like that. Also be reaching out to like other content creators, seeing if they want to help support the channel and include like some prizes for you guys. So make sure to tune in to next week. We'll try and get a guest on to cover what's going to be happening on the 100th episode, and then also preparing for the giveaway next week as well. So make sure to tune into that. And thanks for voting in the poll, 29 votes. I'm going to end it now. And I I think far and ahead was PD7 with that 66%. Papa Brad's Gaming also says, how many people in your poll are channel members or have had on their shows? So not sure how many people in the poll are channel members. I know you are, Papa Brad. I haven't seen many others. I mean, it is optional if you guys want to become a channel member. It is only 99 cents per month, so less than $1. You can join our membership on Biggie D's Arcade. That's going to give you the badge that Papa Brad's Gaming has, as well as the emojis that he was showing earlier. So if you guys want to use those, you want to also support the channel for less than $1, you can do that. And thanks for bringing that up, Papa Brad. And also I appreciate the support for not only being a guest on the show, I think you've been on the show 2 or 3 times now, but also supporting it through our membership program and buying memberships for others too. Many times you have done that where you've bought 10 memberships at a time for other viewers. So I really appreciate that. But I hope you guys all have a great week next week, starting tomorrow, Monday morning. Make it a good week. I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight for the live stream, talking the most recent Fantastic Four movie that I saw this week, as well as the Peacemaker show, which is coming next month. And then also just talking about Hulk Hogan and, unfortunate passing of him, and our Cosmic Invasion, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which I think is still about a couple months out, but we continue to get more and more characters added to that roster and that lineup of characters. So appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I'll see everyone in the next one. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.